Hey everyone, it's Ashton Joshi from ATFA Academy, and today we are going to be talking about a financial mindset. Let's do a little bit of money. You know what? If we're talking about financial mindset, let's make it fun. Green. There you go. This is compiling multiple topics and helping you with everything. Because that's what a financial mindset involves. And it will definitely have some things that we've talked about in other courses, but this is like if you want to think important thing is, as our phrase goes, think rich, grow rich. And you could see in our logo too that when we have our gold and then we have our leaf because we want you to you're already halfway through the circle, but then it only takes the learning of knowledge and finance to make you go whole. And that's what we teach at ATFA. And that's why we strongly recommend you make accounts to do the courses. And you get to access videos like these all for free. And besides that, let's get on to the walkthrough. So Eric is viewing the results for an online search about the current economic situation in North America. Which of the following is going to provide Eric with the most reliable information? So, if I wanted to do this as fast as possible, first I see my source. Canador college student, then we see written in 2009. Makes it irrelevant. That's too old. An article written by a Harvard, there we go, economic professor that was published in a business magazine last month. So we could see this is definitely one of our choices that could be an answer. But first, let's just make sure we get all the choices down because that's what we do as intelligent investors. Second edition economics textbook, 2005, gross. Who needs a textbook when you have ATFA for economics? Am I right? And then D, a 2-day old video clip of a CNN interview with a 16-year-old entrepreneur from Wisconsin. I'm all for supporting high school entrepreneurs. After all, I'm that would be like dissing myself. So, but the thing is, it's yes, it's good time, but it's CNN. An important thing to know is that a lot of media companies, especially on social media and everything, they're very, let's just say, there's a lot of manipulation going on. Like there's a lot of things going behind the scenes you don't even know. They could be getting paid off, and I mean that's when they have such a huge market share, they use it to gather more power and money. And that's what leads it to sometimes have misleading information. So I just want you to be aware of that. And that leads us to our right answer, which is B. And just like that, on to the next question. All right. Bo's job is to choose and buy clothing for a retail store. His career is in the area of. So you just choose. So, like, let's say that he is in American Eagle. And let's just say they didn't manufacture their own clothes and stuff and they decided to resell. You know how in like Best Buy, for example, they get the Apple devices and everything for resale and that's how they make their money. That's the same thing what he's trying to do. So that makes it pretty simple. That type of job it's not professional selling cuz he's buying. It's not general management cuz that's not managing people, and it's not marketing research because he's already done his research if he's like buying the clothes already. So it's pretty simple merchandising, which is just clothes. And what is the preferred color of paper to use for letters of application? So this means like if you're applying to a job and you're showing this to an employer, let's say this is the boss, you want to make sure that this is not in green, that it's in white, because that's how all formal documents should be printed as. Make sure it has a white background because that's just the professional color. That's why we have our white background. It's not working, but you see all of this, all white, because we know white shows elegance, and that is for like letters of recognition. Not to say all the other colors and all, but when it comes to formal documents, they'll always be printed with a white background. It's just the way things go. So just be aware of that. If I were a kindergarten, though, obviously the colored ones, but just remember that. And Bob has failed to pay his child support payment for 3 months in a row. Because of this, the government has put a claim on his house to satisfy the debt. This is very interesting. And we've actually not covered this. And I feel like it's very important that you understand. So, a claim. That means the government is saying that this is now mine. Not necessarily, but like it's mine until you prove otherwise. Okay? And if we see, so like, rather than just going into time, this is not debt consolidation. That just means like putting together all your debt. Can't be garnishment. That doesn't apply. And repossession just means like taking ownership again. But that's not necessarily what the government's trying to do. They're not trying to. The bank could do that, but not the government. What the government is doing is the government's responsible for his child support payments that are to whatever his family. That doesn't concern us. But so this is the government. And this could be the bank. But because it's the US government, so they have authority, what they can do is because their debt's not paid back, they technically have the right to interfere and take back the house and sell it. If the homeowner does not pay the money back Bob owes to his child. If Bob money doesn't go to child, okay, then Bob no longer has a house. And that's what a lien is called. So that's a lien. And I'm going to explain this really easily because I feel like I can't just leave you hanging. I can't do that to my fellow members and people who want to learn the ways to become successful. So what it means is like a lien. Take it for example, it could be you borrow a toy. When you were a kid, you borrow a toy from a friend. Let's say it's a really bad drawing, but a car, and your friend gives it to you, and now you have his car, so he no longer has it, so you're borrowing it. But if you don't give the toy back, let's say then your friend can take something else you have instead, and it's just an exchange type of thing. Typically, the person gets into his or her senses, and fixes it. But if they don't, then that means that there's no. They take your toy, and it's just like your teacher. I don't know if your teacher ever did this, but say like they gave you a pencil, they may have asked you to put your phone here because you took one of their things, and they technically have get to keep it as long as you don't give back the pencil. And that's what a lien can be summarized as. We'll definitely go in more detail when we make our real estate unit. So perfect. And I think that it's starting to wrap up time. So other than that, I hope you learned a lot from this lesson and learned what a lien was, and have a great day. Always a pleasure. Thank you.